Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively here on Sunday the 23rd of November 2025 with FLOSSTUBE number 293. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch. It's nice to have you here on this very sunny, fluffy white cloud blue sky day in Upper Hutt in the Wellington region of New Zealand. It is getting a little warm for my liking. It's a little bit humid and I have been suffering majorly with my allergies. Now when I say suffering, some people are a lot worse with allergies, given that I already take a whole bunch of stuff to stop me from coughing and spluttering. But yeah, I don't know, over the last year maybe, my allergies, which have typically been throat and chest, so voice, chest, like asthma, postnasal drip, but not really up here. This last year it started to, like, sniffing and sneezing and watery eyes and stuffy and feeling like really sinusy, which is not, I used to be respiratory, so that's not fun. I don't know. Next time I see my GP, I might have a chat about what else I can do, or do I need to change stuff up a little bit. I've been on drugs since I got back from India. When was that? 2015. So I've been on the similar regime for 10 years. So maybe, you know, the world's shifted and I'm older and I didn't even know. Anyway, but last week I just, headaches. I thought I might be getting a sinus infection. I haven't got a sinus infection. It was just stuffy and feeling horrible. So I'm still not feeling myself. And to be fair, I feel like a bit of it might be burnout, but we'll get there, right? Wherever there is. There for me is Christmas. Because I won't be working for at least 9 days. 10 days, not really sure actually, but at least 9 days. And I have no real plans other than I'm going to a restaurant for lunch on Christmas Day with my good friends, my old friends from uni days, the boys as I call them, and one set of parents, because Dwayne's still got parents. And that's it. That's my entire plans for Christmas. I can't wait to do nothing, basically. I need a break. So that's weeks away. And I've got something on, I think, every weekend until Christmas, including on the 20th of December. I'll be going to Palmerston North to go to the ballet with my friend Lauren, and then I probably will come home via Foxton and catch up with my friend Mark, who moved to Foxton. He used to be in Palmy, so I haven't told him yet, but he might be making me dinner. I am not shy and saying, hey, I'm going to come visit. I might be there around dinner time. Now, to be fair, I think the ballet is going to finish about 4. I don't even care, we'll go out for get takeaways or something, but I probably, Foxton's like 20 minutes, I don't even know. It's by Palmy, so I might as well kill 2 birds with one stone, because I don't know when else I'm going to see him, and I don't think I've seen him since this time last year, which is 100% ridiculous. We used to live together and then probably saw too much of each other, and then, you know, would see each other once he moved to Palmy like 4 times a year, 6 times a year. And then as life's moved on, that's dwindled down to, it's quite hard work now to work out when to get there. But anyway, blah, 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 ramble. I've still got quite a bit to fit in for this year, for the next, is it 4 weeks of work? 4 weeks of work, 5 weeks of work? I don't even know now. So that's it. So other than feeling crappy, and I did a couple of short days last week because I just had to go lie down and shut my eyes because it felt kind of crap. I didn't do anything else. It was a very quiet stay home and recharge kind of week. little bit of stitching to show you. 4 projects coming up. In the week coming up, again, going to be another busy week. I will be in Wellington on Thursday. I'll work from, you know what, I don't know if I'll work from the office. Maybe I'm not sure yet. I might just meet my friends. I'm going to Amelie the musical. So excited. It's my favourite film. And no, it's not one of my questions, because everyone knows Amelie's my favourite film. It's not one of my security questions. So, sorry, it's not one of the answers to my security questions, even though it is my favourite film, but it's not, I don't use it because everyone knows. And like, I own the DVD. I've purchased the DVD twice. I've probably seen it I could have seen it more. In fact, I really should watch it. I might watch it this evening actually, because I have it on DVD. And I just can't really stitch because, of course, subtitles, even though I kind of know what they're saying because I've seen it so many times, I couldn't tell how many times I've seen it. It's more than The Labyrinth, and we ripped a copy of The Labyrinth when I was a kid and watched this crusty old video, VHS, slowly deteriorate into oblivion, because every time we had friends around or cousins or whatever, we're like, we have this one DVD. And we would watch The Labyrinth. So I've probably seen a million more times I've seen The Labyrinth, and that's saying a lot. So blah 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 blah. The musical's going to be weird. I'm looking forward to seeing how they translate. Given it's a French film, the musical I think is going to be in English. I presume it's going to be in English. So that's already different. The film, you know, if you're a fan of the Jean-Pierre Jeunet as a director, I love his style, his kind of slightly weird, like it looks like he's filming through, you know, kind of vintage vignette kind of filters. Things are very kind of exaggerated and I don't know, they're so quirky, and also, I don't know, it's just going to be interesting to see how it translates. But it's a smaller production at the Hannah Playhouse, which used to be Downstage Theatre, down in Courtney Place, or Kent Terrace, I can't remember which one, the corner anyway. I'm so excited. So that's Thursday night, and that's my reason for leaving the house. And then on Saturday next week, we've got our quarterly Wellington region Stitch catch up in Johnsonville at the St. John's Church Hall. So local folks, reminder, that'll be nice. I haven't seen Anne for ages. Anne organises it, and then other people obviously, but it'd be nice to see friends. That's probably what's coming up next week. So 2 outings, we call it. Otherwise, I think we can probably get into the stitchy stuff. So I have a little bit of haul from Art and Frame. I asked Karen to put this aside for me a few weeks ago until I bought something else, and then I don't really buy anything else. I'm like, I really should pay you for that book. And then I got some things cut for some ornament finishing, because Tanya does that. So do I need it? No, but I had to get book 5. Those of you who've been around for a little while know I've got books 1 through 4. These are the handpicked collection from Inspirations magazine. They're just beautiful. You know, will I ever stitch anything in these? Who the hell knows? I don't care. They're eye candy. They're really interesting. In fact, I kind of do have plans one day to maybe pick, I'm thinking about, it won't be next year, but maybe from, I'm already planning 2027, is to pick like one of the books and pick one project that I'll kit up myself, because I missed the boat on any of the kits and stuff, but you know, it's only money. And kit one up and just work on it as a little why not, because I have these beautiful books and stuff. So this one here has, how many projects does it have in it? I'll show the price off. I didn't know it was on there, and I hate my prices being on things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 projects. So that's, I'm not going to flick through all of them, but there's just a summary of the back. They're just beautifully produced books and stuff. So quick glance, if I was going to pick one thing from this book that I might stitch sometime in the future, and it's, I've always wanted to do like stump work, Elizabethan work. And you know me, when you see a pomegranate, I mean, hello, pomegranate. Oh my gosh, I'll flick through. So this one will be, if and when I get to this book, is this Elizabethan panel, because it has all the things I love. That's probably possibly a better picture. One moment. Okay, here, I'm not giving anything away. So you've got your pomegranate and fig, hello, Tudor rose, honeysuckle, childhood memory, columbine. That's then just some details about the flowers that are in it. Isn't it beautiful? Love the colours. I love those yellowy greens. The bit of, I mean, it's just, and hello pomegranate. So that is one where I would be like, you know what? Give it a crack, Nigel, I reckon. So one day I might, yeah, I've decided maybe 2027 I'll pick one book and a project to do that year and then work my way through. Kind of told myself, Leigh the completist, I don't need any more. 5's a great number. They're bound to come out with a book 6. I'm going to try not to buy it. But because when they came out with, I bought books 1, 2, and 3 together. I thought that was just it. Then this year, whenever they came out with book 4, I think I picked it up this year, and I was like, oh, and now they're in 5. I'm like, well, I've got to keep going. But I probably don't need that many more, so I'm gonna try and leave it at 5. We'll see. We'll see. And then I just grabbed, Tanya asked if Tanya could cut me some smaller finishing circles. I've got some secret stitching to finish, and I needed, excuse me, I think they're like 2.5 inches. I needed more than 2 1/4 and less than 3. I just said whatever. So I've got they're not all for this year, but I've got a series. Anyway, I just needed some little circles. They're just little mat board circles for finishing. Some ornaments, and I will show you them. I'll show you photos of them after I finish them. I can show you in a couple of weeks. I'm so crap at finishing, but I do have a deadline. So that was just a wee order from Art and Frame down in Christchurch. Very quick to send once I paid the bill. And then I got my monthly package from Catherine at Country Stitch. I'm still part of Catherine's Rainbow Club, her fabric club, but she is very flexible with her club. So I send her just a random list for the next couple of months of sometime over the next, 2-3 months, I would like, a fat quarter of this and a fat half of this and a thing of this, and then also a list of extra bits and pieces that I get through here. So every month I'm sort of getting a piece of fabric and some floss. So she over delivered this month. What did I get? I did pull the things to show you. So a piece of, I'm not going to take it out of the package, it's a fat quarter of Edinburgh, 35 count, and it's stone. There you go. It's so nice. That colour is actually rendering quite well on my screen. What's this for? It's for ravens. What does that mean? I wrote on the packet, for ravens. This I've had in my stash for a little while, for a couple of years at least. It's from Maximum Cross Stitch. And it's the ravens at Castle Care. So I picked that to go for that. I believe it's chartered for Roxy Floss, but I will just use, she does have a DMZ conversion. Yeah, it is Roxy Floss. And I would just use my own stash. So there's just the colour mock up there. lots of greens, a couple of warm colours, some browns, so really neutral palette. Wouldn't really matter though if these houses looked a little, sorry, this castle looked a bit different. Some potential for specialty stitches in there, which I'm 100% happy with. A whole bunch of Smyrna crosses to give it texture, love that. Some satin stitch. I thought about changing the tartan to McDonald tartan, but it doesn't, the number of threads don't translate that well. This is based on an ancestral home in Scotland, from her family, from Ellen Reid's family. And this is just a generic, non-specific tartan again. Anyway, so I'm planning to stitch this next year. So we'll start this next year because next year is going to be my year of, I'm going to have a Celtic theme with some of my starts. Happy with that. So 35 count means I could do one strand. Whoop, whoop. What else did I get? I got some Belsoir. In my year of smalls, I have these 3 charts from Luminous Fibre Arts. She has more in this series, but I'm just doing this 3. Don't like the Santa one, don't want to do there's a couple that kind of get a little bit too away from the birdie thing. Like I like how the birds in these all have the same kind of profile. So this one I've already stitched, but I'm going to restitch it with the call for floss, and I've got the ribbon. Because I want to do all 3 together. I think I might have made a mistake with the fabric I pulled, because you need to put I want to put the little buttons on, and the little buttons need to be on 32 count. I pulled 35 count, so that might need to change. I wanted to do 35 count. You know what, if I can find smaller buttons, I'm going to use 35 count. I've just got like 35 count antique white, but that way I can do 1 strand of silk. They'll be a little bit smaller, but I just need to find really tiny buttons. So it's all going to come down to really tiny buttons. If I can't find really tiny buttons, I have to do 32 count, then I might not have enough floss, because I think she does call for Belsoir, and I think she calls for 2 strands, geez, what am I trying to say? 2 skeins, I think. Yeah, 2 skeins, each of them. I only got 1. We'll see. It doesn't matter. I can get more. So the 3 charts are Gathering Berries, and the call for floss is Belsoir Cranberry. Then there's Gathering Clover. I haven't stitched this one before. And this one is Collard Greens. And then the 3rd one I want to stitch is Gathering Honey to make the little trio. And I've got Teddy Bear. So they're all the called for. Not called for linen. And then a while ago I showed you that I got some overdyed rayon knit from Lady Doc's Cracks, and that's all the called for as well. So that's because I want to do the ruffly finishing on them. So if I can find buttons smaller than the buttons I've got pretty wee buttons, I'll look at doing it on the 36 count. If I can't find the small enough buttons, I'll have to go up to 32, and I might need to get some extra floss. We shall see. Then I got 2 skeins of Oscar, which I need for my Teresa Kogut, the Let Love Rain. I knew I would need at least 1 more skein, and I didn't want to stitch too much further on it until I could bring in and kind of alternate with my existing skein in one of these, so that I can just manage. I mean, it's an overdye and it's a bit motley anyway, but variegated, but I could then at least manage you know, significant dye lots by doing, you know, a couple of leaves in one skein, a couple of leaves in another skein, and just work my way through. So there for Let Love Rain, just a couple of extra skeins of Oscar. Always, Oscar's like one of the most frequently used greens in Blackbird, I think, and in Plum Street, and all of it's a really good green. Again, I love these yellowy greens. They're a good green. And then I got 2 skeins of Grasshopper, and these are the last 2 skeins I need to kit up my birthday start. So these are Grasshopper by Weeks, and they are for I say Kittlewick, but maybe I've heard people say Siddlewick. I don't know how to actually say it. Ciderwick / Kitterwick green. I'm going to probably keep calling it Kitterwick green because that just is how I would say like it. I don't know. So this here is going to be my birthday start for 2026. So by Rosewood Manor. Ignoring what it's stitched on, which is the call for was she often have, I think most, just Karen always just default to 32 count as her model of choice. I feel like that. So it calls for Under the Sea Fabrics 32 Aztec, and therefore you know, a bunch of skeins of weeks, so all up at 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 18, 25, 29 I think skeins of weeks. It's a lot, but I don't want to stitch it that big anyway. So I had this piece of fabric. Oh no, I don't have the card. Oh no, I do have it written down. Okay, cool. So this is 36 count Tiger's Eye from Weeks Dye Works, and this was a lovely gift from my friend Judith from one of her trips overseas. I think she saw it and went, I think my colour here was this colour at that time, and she grabbed that for me. So I decided that will be perfect. So I'm going to use the cord for floss, but I've kind of, and most of them I've halved because I'm going to do one strand. And so I have a whole bunch, beautiful colours, like khaki and amber. Quite a lot of this I got from, where was I? Ribbon Rose when I was there in January briefly. And I caught up with Zeb and we went to Ribbon Rose. Twilight, I've got 3 skeins of Twilight. Jaybird, shout out to Anne, what's up? Bullfrog, love me a yellowy green. Grasshopper, which I just purchased. Clockwork, Begonia, Garnet, and Peony. Beautiful. So looking forward to that. So that's all ready to go now. My birthday start. I need to do a little card for it, don't I? Haven't done one yet. So Kitterwick green. That's going to be fun to do. So that's the birthday start that I purchased those flosses for. I think that was everything I got. Yeah, 3 lots of flosses for 3 projects and the fabric. So basically fully kitted up, not quite fully. The maximum cross stitch one is going to be, I will cut that up from stash. Again, did I say that? I think I did. But like I'm not too worried about it, whether it's very similar or not, because it's just lots of greys and neutral colours and a couple of warm colours and stuff, and I'll just grab from my overdyes and work out what works, like, you know, what I've got plenty of versus it'll be fine. So that's going to be for that one. That will be a start next year. Stitching. First up, I went ham and I had it concentrated on Real Comfort. So my lovely friend Lizzie the Stitcher, we started this on my birthday. Yes, this was my birthday start 2025, Real Comfort from Plum Street, and Lizzie started it with me. We both used a call for fabric, 36 count Saltbush linen from Fox and Rabbit. Lizzie used the call for overdyes. She made a couple of wee changes because the dye lots were these 2 colours were very similar. Regardless of what we used, these 2 houses are really similar, and the door, I changed the colour of my door. She changed the colour of her door, I think, and she put back stitch around it because it just didn't quite stand out. We both had issues with not enough floss, or I only barely had enough floss. I used the Vicky Clayton hand-dyed silk pack, fibre silk pack, and Lizzie used a call for button. So Lizzie finished hers. not last week, the week before, and I was just like, that is amazing. But I didn't do any, I did barely any stitching that other week after I got back from Australia. Yeah, I can't remember now. So I was like, you're on, I'm going to stitch that. So I just decided to focus on it. Again, I had said I wanted to finish it before the end of the year because it's my birthday start. So I finished it. So that was my main focus. So again, there's the details. Real Comfort, Plum Street, samplers, 36 count Saltbush linen, Foxton Ribbit, Vicky Clayton, hand-dyed fibres, silk pack that I got from Helen at That Crafty Kiwi here in New Zealand. So 18th of January 2025, my birthday is when I started it, and I finished it on the 21st of November. Huzzah. And I love it. I'll show you it. I need to get a screen grab. Ta-da! Amazing, right? There's so much stitching in this thing. That house is a beast. Okay, since you last saw it, I worked on predominantly the top third. So everything on top of the house, I think I had stitched part of that little bird, not his beak and stuff. I'm lying. I'd stitched that little bird's body, not his beak and stuff. I'd done half of the words. So I was up to like, I think part of the word like or part of the word staying was done. So I had to finish the wording. Everything else above the roof inside had to be stitched. All of this top row, a little bit here and a little bit more here. So first of all, I got all the green in around the border because I figured if I ran out of that colour, because I was running really close, then these leaves, these little leaves in here that were the same colour, that's the only place inside where that same colour was. I figured I could always substitute those. I did have enough. I barely had enough. So I had 8 meters of silk, stranded silk, and the called for chart said you needed 2 skeins of week, so that's 5 meters. So the called for said you needed 10 meters of that color. Well, you needed up to 10 meters, right? 2 skeins of weeks. I had 8 meters and I barely had enough. And I'm very frugal. I didn't have to frog a single stitch because also all the color in the lawn. So all of the foliage around the outside and the color infill in the lawn and a few leaves in here. That's all of those 2 skeins. So everything above, my moon stands out so much more than the picture. You wouldn't even know there was a moon there. All you can tell is there's a gap. There's a moon. There's a moon, check it out. Given that this model was supposedly on the called for, I mean, either that fabric has changed significantly or this photo, I don't even know. Well, actually the model wasn't stitched on it. I love this fabric though, and I have a little bit left. So that's enough to do a decent size small. I've got like a couple of Teresa Kogets when I was briefly a Patreon member that I think would probably look quite nice on a bit of scrap of 36 count. So I'll trim that off. So I'm really happy, got my birthday start finished with a month to spare. Ready to start Kenilworth Green. Whoop whoop. I am going to pass this on, but I've done 3 giveaways on my channel over the last month or so. Everything got on the post last week, and I know at least one of them has arrived. So thank you for being patient. I finally got to the post shop, but I do like to pass stuff around in my community. Like even, there's a few things I put aside to take to retreats. I do have my Wellington Stitchy gathering, so I'm going to offer this up to one of the local gals first and just see if anyone wants it. And then if they don't, she's quite a commitment and not everyone's cup of tea. And it totally would look great in DMC. Like the variegation's lovely, but you could totally stitch that in DMC or pick 2, pick your overdye for the grass and maybe the main big house or something. I don't know, but all the little fiddly things, they don't need to be overdized. I'm just like being extra. So I might offer that up to local gals festival, and then if that doesn't go, then I'll just take it to, I've got 2 retreats coming up. I've got the Auckland Stitchy retreat in early February and the Christchurch Stitchy retreat late March, so I don't have a lot to take down, so I might do that. So anyway, it'll go with locally, but yeah, just I like to pass it around all of the community, right? Not just my channel. So I'm going to do that. So I'll take that next weekend to see if anyone else wants it. Next up, we have my red thread project. So Louisa Coulimore, also a stash thumper start from 25. So this is from Hands Across the Sea. I'm doing it as a stitch along with Narissa from Narissa Stitching Lifestyle and my friend Judith. And I'm supposed to be doing a red thread a day, and I haven't been. I've been doing 4 threads twice a week. It's fine. I just want to get some other stuff finished. So this is almost just sit down and do 4 threads. I sort of actually prefer than 1 thread a day. So I'm on 56 Grunard linen from the Wee Linen Company, and I'm using Gütermann silk. And I think I'll get this finished this year. What have I done? I'll show you where it's at now. And then I'll fold it for a close-up. Since you last saw it, this whole row here is done, and then these partial ones. And why are they partial rows? Because when something touches, when I've stitched, I stitch up. I stitch this way. So when something touches, I just stitch up, and then it's easy enough from a W to go along to the X and then the Y. Similarly, I stitched along here, and then that went up to the Z, and then that one touched that one, so I carried on. And then in doing so, I realized that I had a mistake, which I'm leaving in because it's half of the fun. When I started this row here, I am half a stitch too low. So there's supposed to be 3 or 4. So for example, above this T is supposed to be 4 threads, and there's only 3. So when I get along to here, these are only 1 thread above instead of 2 threads or a whole stitch. I left it because this is Louisa Make It Fit Coulimore, and I'm embracing it. So this row, and then subsequently this row and this row are all not half a stitch, half a thread, 1 thread too low. But it kind of fits in because some of you may recall back when I stitched this crown is also half a thread in the wrong direction. It's half a thread up. So again, there's meant to be like, 2 threads between here and 3 or something. So I kind of like the fact that it's a bit random and it doesn't really matter, and I still love it, and we'll carry on. So that mostly got love. I think I did a little bit on one day in the week, like it might have been Monday. Monday or Tuesday, I did like 4 threads or so, and then I did 2 lots of stitching on it yesterday. Before I made dinner, I did about 4 threads, and then after I'd done had dinner and done the kitchen, I did another sort of 4 threads or so. So all up, she got about 12 threads in, which is more than 1 thread a day. I'm just not really doing 1 thread a day at the moment. What else did I do? My garden club series. So this is number 2, which is my 11th, because again I start at the bottom and work my way up. So the 11th of 12 of the garden club series from Blackbird Designs. So this is the apple orchard, and I picked that up yesterday, got that done yesterday afternoon. It was quite a quick one. It's quite graphic. I'll show you in a second. It's quite graphic and brighter. I sort of feel, I don't know, I really like it on its own. I don't actually think it goes with the style of the rest of it. I'll show you in a minute and see what you think. Also, they kind of cut that bird off weird. I feel like he could have made him a bit fatter. So, see the bird? The bird looks like he's been sliced off. He isn't actually up to the border. There is an extra row. And I sort of feel like he could have had another like, you know, a few stitches to make them a bit plumper, but whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, it's not my favourite one of the series as part of the series, but on its own, I actually really like how graphic it is, and it's got so much of that yellow-green leaf that make me happy. So mine is on 40 count linen, dyed by me, using mostly the called for. There's a couple of places where, even this one here, it called for Garden Gate, and it's the only place that Garden Gate's called for in this whole chart. Or I don't know what I've done with Garden Gate. And I'm like, I'm not going to go and find Garden Gate, which I do have somewhere. I'm going to go find Garden Gate to do like 20 stitches. So I just stitch it with something else, which arguably it's probably a little bit, I use charcoal. It's probably a bit close to the other colour that was called for, Tin Bucket. Yeah. There's a little bit more variation in the bird than mine is. And then something else was called for and I couldn't find it. Oh, called for dark chocolate, which I didn't have, so I just used another one that I had in that bag. Again, it's the only place dark chocolate's called for. I don't have dark chocolate from whoever it's from. But it's like 97% called for. Ta-da! So that's where we're at. One more to go, one more double doofer here. But let me show you, like it's just very, kind of quite bright, because this is all very pink and muted, but it's a very quite bold and graphic. It just feels like it's a different style. I like it, but like it's so different to the butterflies. You look at it above the butterfly, like in that little quartet. I mean, it's brighter, that one's brighter, but these are so muted. And then you got this really bright. I don't unlike it, but it's quite, the contrast is very stark to me. The greens are just so much brighter on that one than everywhere else, where there's lots of beigey, browny. Anyway, happy with that. One more to go. Yay, it'll be finished. Yay. I'll be happy to have it all finished. And then last but not least, I did pick up my October blooms, my Artsy Housewife start. This was started on the 25th of October as a start along, an Artsy Housewife start along with my friend Christine down in Dunedin. She started Bun Bun and she finished Bun Bun a couple of weeks ago. So I was like, sweet, I just need to get real comfort out of the way and then I'll come back. So I got a little bit done on this. So I'm stitching mine on 36 count Alabaster linen from Weeks Dye Works, and I'm using my own, a couple of the called for, but only by accident, and then in my own overdyed conversion, a couple of DMCs. So I want to get this finished soon, so I'll probably be focused for this week as well. Last time, so since you last saw it, I've stitched the black of the chimneys. There's one other colour to go on top of them, like the little chimney pot, and the leaves on top of the roof, like this one. I got these in, so these two chimneys, that bit of greenery, and then I've got the black for that flower. So I'm just going to try and do as much of the black. Not all the flowers have a black outline, but most of them do. So got that one done. There's some black outline in that one. Not so much these two, there's a bit of black in them, but, and then there's some black outline in that one. So I'm gonna try and get the black outline done on that one, and that one. And then whatever the significant outline is in here. And then I can kind of look at color completing, like, because I'll have enough structure in that I can, color complete largely. So I won't have to count too far. So there's a little bit of stitching still to do, but like a third, but if I can colour complete, it'll be really good. So looking forward to that. So I did that this morning, like before I did this video. After I got breakfast and some housework done, I then sat down with a cup of coffee and watched a couple of YouTube videos and got that outline and that leaf in. So that is all my stitching. So I was going to show you my box of smalls, what I've got so far, But I think I will do a separate video for that because otherwise it's going to take forever to upload. So I'll just do it as a bonus video. You can watch it straight after if you want. But last week's video took so long to upload that I fell asleep and I woke up at like 5 in the morning and it was still sitting to upload. It stuck at 47%. And that was me falling asleep at like 10 p.m. So I don't want to leave it till after 7 tonight and I don't want it to be too long. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this one off. Thanks all for coming, and yeah, do check out my bonus video when I just go through my box of smalls to show you some of the stitching I plan for next year. Take care and don't let your needles rust. Ciao.